Hi everyone. So friends, in this lecture we will see the demonstration of @method source annotation, that how we can use a static factory method to provide different values to our parameterized test. So in our JUnit 5 project, in our test folder, I'll simply create a test class. We'll give a name to it as method source demo, and we'll simply keep it in a package com.hubspot.junit5.parameterized test.method source. We'll click finish. So from inside this method source demo test class, I will be creating a method method source test. So as it is our test method, we'll simply annotate it with parameterized test. So friends, in the last lecture we discussed about @method source annotation, that how we can use @method source annotation to get the values from a static method and simply pass it to our parameterized test. So let's say I want to pass different string values to our parameterized test. So what we can do is, we can simply provide the annotation @method source, and here we can simply provide the name of the method. So let's say I give the method name as string provider. So friends, what happens is, when I will run this test case, @method source will search for string provider method inside this method source demo test class, and which should be a static method. So here I simply create a static method as string provider, and we also discussed that the return type of the string provider should be either a stream, iterator, iterable, or an array. So let's say I provide a stream of string So this stream of string will act as an input to our @parameterized test. So here we'll simply return few values which are string. So let's say stream, it has a method of, and here we can simply provide the different strings, such as, let's say I give the values as dog, cat, and mouse. So here we are providing these three values as a stream to our @method source, which will read this method and values and will simply inject it to our @parameterized test. So here inside this method source test, we will get a string value, and here what we simply do is, we simply provide an assert that it should not be null, just for the demonstration purpose. We'll need to import this. So friends, if I run the test case, so here you can see the test case got executed 3 times, with the first value as dog, second value as cat, and the third value as mouse. So here you can see as many as value you provide here, that many times this parameterized test will run. So friends, here we saw that we only provided a string value. Now what if we want to have multiple values, something like this? So we can't use this stream of string now because it has now multiple arguments. So then what we can do is we can simply use the arguments interface. So we'll see a demo. I'll just copy this and paste it below. So I give the name of this method as method source test with arguments. And I change this method as, let's say, arguments provider. I'll remove this assert and I will give the name of the method to our @method source, that arguments provider. So friends, in our previous lecture we created one class by name string helper which had a method reverse. So this reverse method took a string, it simply reversed the string and return it back to us. So let's say if you want to test this method using @method source, then what we can do is we can simply say here, instead of string, now we have to provide arguments, which is an interface provided in org.junit.jupyter.params provider package. And here I will simply remove this return. So friend, let's say we want to test this reverse method by providing in the input, and let's say we provide one more value which would be our expected value, and we'll simply assert the actual value with this expected value. So friends, in our previous lecture, in our CSV source demo class, we tested this reverse method by providing different values like input and expect. So I'll simply copy this 2 lines and I will reuse it in method source demo. So instead of expect, I give expected. So here we are simply calling string helper.reverse by providing in the input, and whatever it returns, we are asserting it with assert equals with the expected value, which we also pass to this @parameterized test. Now how we can pass these multiple values is, we have provided the method name like this, and we know that it should return now the stream of arguments. So here we'll simply return stream of. So in order to create multiple arguments, what we do is arguments dot, there is a method arguments which takes in a multiple arguments. So here let's say I provide the first argument, which would be our input, say car, and when we'll pass this car to our reverse method, we are asserting it with an expected value, let's say RAC, which is the reverse of car. So this is our first argument to @parameterized test. Now let's say we copy this and we paste it below, and here I provide a value as, say, mom, and we know that its reverse is also mom. So friends, if I run the test case now, so here you can see the test case got executed successfully, and here you can see it ran for 2 values, one for car and rack and the second from mom and mom. So here, as we are providing the stream of arguments, So here one argument will invoke this @parameterized test once, 2 will invoke twice, and it goes on for the number of values we provide in our static method. So friends, in this lecture we saw the demonstration of @method source annotation, that how we can use @method source annotation to provide different values to our @parameterized test by simply calling a static factory method and getting different arguments in form of a stream or iterable or iterator or an array. I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.